topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Taking a chance. Telling me to dance, taking a chance.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Laws of Empowering Entrepreneurs. I am your host, Blanca, and I consider myself your international interviewer, networker, and marketer. And I look at my role as the individual designated by you to have you meet the most fascinating people throughout the world. And we meet these amazing people through our international summit every Tuesday at 11 o'clock a.m. If you're not coming to the summit, you're doing yourself a great disservice, because my next guest, who you'll be meeting, is a friend of Mark Siegel, who I met through the Happy Neighborhood Project, who I would never have met if it wasn't for the Tuesday Summit. So please join us every Tuesday at 11 a.m. and there is no fee to attend. All you have to do is subscribe to the Laws of Life platform. And there's so many advantages to being a part of it, including meeting extraordinary people. So without further ado, let's bring on my guest, Mike Hayes. And let me tell you a little bit about Mike. Mike is really one of a kind. He is a two-time Peabody Award-winning documentary director for NBC News. He is a member of the Directors Guild of America. He was a correspondent of CNN Los Angeles and a producer of the Keys to Success show. He has interviewed many of the most successful people in the world, including Oprah, including Bob Proctor. So without further ado, let's bring Mike onto the show.
All right.
How are you?
I'm great. Thanks so much for having me here and being a guest on Laws of Empowering Entrepreneurs, Blanca. I'm honored.
Well, really, this is very exciting for me. I'm really happy to meet a person of your caliber and your experience. I mean, my first question out of the box is, I've got to ask is, how did you win 2 Peabody Awards as an interviewer?
Well, I'm so glad you asked me that because it's kind of the opposite of what people think. A lot of people, when I talk to them or first meet them and they hear that, they get very intimidated and they get scared of me. And that's the last thing I want. And that is not how you win 2 Peabody Awards. It's the opposite of that. I interviewed Oprah as an example, as a mentor, let's say. But really what it's about is being a super trusted interviewer. I never interview anybody unless I think it will do them some good. And so the reason I won 2 Peabody Awards is because people trust me. They get with me one-to-one. I'm able to bring a lot out of them, Blanca. And to me, it's all about bringing out the multi-dimensional parts of them. We get on networking events and we all look one-dimensional, but this is a way to bring out multi-dimensions.
So how did you break into the interview business? How did that even happen?
Well, it's to tell you the truth, I hitchhiked to New York. I walked into NBC and I told them that I'd hitchhiked there and could I apply for a job? And they said, well, we don't have any jobs. And I said, well, I hitchhiked all the way here. Could I at least fill in an application? I start to walk out the door and the lady behind the desk says, hey, you graduated from Eastern Michigan? I said, yeah. She said, I graduated from Eastern Michigan. Come back in here. Sent me on job interviews. I got hired by NBC News, spent 10 years there, got trained by the best broadcasters in the world, traveled the world, had a multi-million-dollar education as part of their protege program. So it was really, it's about taking action, doing what it takes to get into the right place.
So you've got a lot of experience. You've worked, like we said, among CNN. And what is your advice to someone like myself that aspires to be a full-time interviewer 24/7? This is their career.
Action and take action, be an active listener, and really guide the interview and know where it's going. Now, I also do pre-interviews with people because I really want to help them. So what I do is I will do a pre-interview. I will record it. I will send it to them. I will have them write up their own notes on it, listen to it, see how they did, what they could do better. And then I learned from Regis Philbin. I like to toss people softball questions that they can really hit out of the park in their comfort zone. That's where they're best. When they're in their comfort zone, they're going to give a great interview and they're going to deliver a lot of great information.
So you're saying that tip number one is to ask a question in the comfort zone.
Yeah.
So
What's
let me
Go ahead.
ask you a question. What is it in your personality that ignited this desire to be an interviewer?
Well, my aptitude is I love being the bearer of good news. Therefore, I was trained by NBC News how to dig for information, how to do research. So I really worked with world-class researchers. And when you find great news, you do a lot of research and development, you find great news that really can help people, then it's exciting to be able to, deliver it. So that really is the key, and part of the way that you learn things is by interviewing people. And it's I look at people like a book, and I always have since I was a kid, or an onion. I like to peel away the layers, the multi-dimensional parts of them, to get down into their heart and soul and mind and really find out what drives them. That's what helps them. When they can share that, I help them to share what they might not share by themselves, but when they're being asked by someone to share that, and then they're comfortable sharing something that's important about them.
Amazing. So what is your number one law of being an empowering entrepreneur?
Find a need and fill it. And I once said to one of my mentors, I said to him, well, everybody knows that, but what's the real key to success? He goes, Mike, it's find a need and fill it. Don't overlook that. That is the key. And I'm like, oh, okay, you're right. And so, sometimes you have to take the proven things, not reinvent the wheel, but that is solving problems. Find a need and fill it. And that's what I do every day. And I help other people. And I love promoting mentors. I'm the mentor king because I've had more mentors than anybody. So
that's extraordinary. Find a need. I mean, that's really the truth. Solve a problem and provide the solution. All right. So when we come back, we're going to hear about Mike's interviews with Bob Proctor, Regis Philbin, and Oprah, the queen of the interview herself. Let's just celebrate our new Roku channel. We'll be back in 20 seconds. All right, Mike, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Who's the favorite interview of all time for you?
that's me with Oprah Winfrey.
Oh my God, that's crazy. That doesn't get, wow.
And notice the age. That's how long I've been doing this. Okay. So I got started. I was very fortunate. I got started very young. Okay. And so I've had 30 plus years of experience of doing this. So, you learn so many things from so many people. But okay, I think the best one, let me give you the best tip I ever got. Now, this was it was kind of funny, but this was from somebody that was super successful, but not famous. And I interviewed a lot of people, but he said to, I asked him, I'd been doing so many success interviews, I kind of got a little blasé about it one day. And I said to the guy, well, what's the key to success? And he said to me, Mike, and he just looked at me. And I went, what? He goes, you know what the key to success is. And I went, I do. And he goes, yeah, you have to do the things it takes to be successful, period. If you do those things, guess what happens? You become successful. And if you don't, you don't. It's that simple. So we do know many of those things. Many of us just don't do them. But when you do, it really, really pays off.
So what is the key?
The keys, you have to communicate. You have to be able to communicate effectively. Because if you can't communicate effectively person to person, you certainly won't be able to communicate through that filter of the media. So you have to understand human to human communication first, the dynamics of it. What is a communication cycle? A lot of people who think they're communicating really aren't. They're just like sending a fax and think that's the same as communicating. It's not communication until that person has gotten the fax, read it, and go, I agree with this, or I don't agree with this. That's a cycle of communication. And if you don't have that, you're just kidding yourself. You're not really communicating.
So that's a pretty interesting observation, that sometimes we think that we're honoring a cycle of communication, but we're not. I think what's happening is that we live in this digital age where everyone is texting. And, you know, even Mark Siegel has a funny expression, IRL, in real life. Not so much in real life because of this pandemic, social media, the DM, the text message, the email, everything is digitized. Do you think that this has hurt people's communication skills?
Yeah, I think they take a lot of things for granted, but it's not only that. I think there's so much online noise and online traffic. So the real problem is the clog of traffic. How do you stand out? How can you possibly stand out? Let's use a driving analogy. Imagine trying to make a sale while you're out in traffic driving along. You can't. So I always take the path of least resistance or the path less traveled. That's why I use Eventbrite. I really don't focus on where everybody else is, because they're all trying to stand out and yak blah, blah, blah to each other. And they're just, one-dimensional communication. But when you break out into an interview or a one-to-one meeting, you want to get out of the traffic and get where you can really communicate person to person with somebody.
So you are a fan of that direct situation?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that getting to know somebody and talking to them one-to-one, and that's why I do the interviews. I want to learn more about somebody, and I can do it very quickly through an interview. So, I really strongly recommend practicing being interviewed is the best way to learn how to interview. In fact, a quick tip, a friend of mine who was one of the best writers at NBC, he said to me, if you want to become a good writer, it's the same thing with interviewing. But what you do is you take the New York Times and you sit on it you read it, and you sit on at a typewriter and you start to type up the articles as though they are coming through your brain, that it's your thinking, you're breaking down that logic. It's as though it's your mind instead of the writing of the New York Times. And pretty soon you start to think like a writer who can write like that, and you improve with practice. Same thing in being interviewed. Watching people being interviewed is big. Practicing being interviewed. What's the old joke? How do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, right?
That's right. Now, is this a service that you provide, the art of the interview? What is your current business model, and how can people leverage the years of interviewing accomplishments and expertise and Peabody Awards you've acquired? How does that work?
They don't have to, and that's not really part of our program. They can aspire to that. They can learn that. I'm happy to train that. But that's not what they need to do. What they really need to do is to be interviewed. And then they have a teleseminar about their offer. And when you can, really communicate your offer quickly and effectively. Now, here's what happens. When you do that, and you have a teleseminar, then you can test it. You can observe people's reaction to it. Then you can adjust it quickly and effectively. And then you can expand it when you have the right offer. So before you write a book and spend months writing a book, I would definitely do an interview. I would do a teleseminar. I would use that to put it out there, get people's feedback. And so that's why I just interview them. I then show them where they can post it. I use Eventbrite. I get about 500 or 600 new leads every single month just by posting on a free account on Eventbrite. If you have really great content like I do. So I help people bring out the best of them. Then we have great content. I teach them how to post it on Eventbrite like I do. And then they've got a teleseminar about themselves and their story. And then they've learned how to be interviewed. I've given them feedback about what I call value comparison marketing. I had one client, Blanca, who came to me as a total failure when I first met him. And he called himself a miserable failure twice. And he said, Mike, can you help me? So I looked at it and his offer and I went, well, you're comparing this to something less valuable than you're asking people to pay you for it. They're not going to do it. He spent $50,000, not once, but twice, had 0 sales, not one. I told him, we got to reinvent your offer to compare it to something way more valuable. And with that exact same product with a different offer, we took it to $200 million in sales, Blanca, with the exact same product, just by changing the way we were describing the offer.
That's great. So okay, there's a lot of information here. So, and I'm super excited about collaborating with you, and
likewise.
And you're going to be teaching. So let's say there's an entrepreneur out there watching right now. The goal of the Laws of Life shows is that the people in the audience can directly benefit from the information that we're talking about. So this teleseminar, this is a service that you provide. You're going to you're going to interview them. You're going to create a teleseminar about their offer. Now, let's say hypothetically, it's let's say the offer is
Mark Siegel or you.
A combination marketing package. They're going to get live streaming, website design, social media. They're going to get a combination package. We assign a price. Let's just say $500 a month. This is just a hypothetical. That would actually be a really good deal, guys. So if you ever do see that offer, you better take it. So now, what are you going to do with that offer? Take me through the journey.
Okay. Well, first of all, a quick value comparison. Now, this is a local magazine, okay? Can you see that? That says $3,000 a month for a local magazine in one market, $3,000 versus $500. So we start with the value comparison, okay? And then now you're an attorney. So, what
Not
happens?
currently, but yeah.
Okay. But what happens when an attorney's client has to make the case to the jury? Well, when their attorney is grilling them, he asks them the tough questions so they can answer to him or her in a very comfortable way to overcome that that challenge in front of the jury before, as Tony Robbins says, kill the objection while it's a midget before it grows up to a giant and kills you. So you got to overcome the objection while it's still small. Okay. So it never really comes up fully in your prospect's mind because you've overcome it in advance. So you really have to understand the full process, the full logic of everything up front, so you know where you're going before you start. And I do believe that most businesses are made or broken before they open the door, because it's your plan and really knowing where you're going.
That's really so. Well, let's call a spade a spade. Clarity of the offer is a big problem for 90% of entrepreneurs. I've met with hundreds of entrepreneurs in my 30-year career, both as an attorney and as a digital marketing owner and as an interviewer. and they can't get clear on their offer. And one of the blocks that I find that reason they can't get clear is because they're almost afraid that they're going to cheat themselves out. And so instead of committing to the offer and being clear about it, they just continue to waffle on the offer. So my law of life today is stop waffling and get an offer out there. What's the worst that can happen? If nobody takes the bait, you change the offer. Do you agree with that?
You nailed it right there. You change the offer. But what, every great author has an editor, right? And so an editor is somebody like me or Blanca who can really help you to see where you're going. They can help you to edit it by asking you the right questions, giving that clarity, and being that person that is not you. That is what Bob Proctor said to me, is you need somebody who is not you to talk about you and help you.
Ooh, how true is that? How freaking true is that, law of life? And God bless, and our deepest condolences on the recent loss of Bob Proctor. He was such a landmark. So you interviewed Bob.
Yeah. I share a lot of my free interviews with people. Bob Proctor is a great one if you believe in the law of attraction or the law of vibration, which I totally do. But for people who don't, look at The Secret. What was the power of The Secret? It wasn't only the law of attraction. It was the fact that it was on media. So when you take the law of attraction plus media, if you believe in the law of attraction or not, but you have media, you're still going to be successful if you have the right offer. But if you don't have the right offer, I don't care what you do with it. Nobody's going to buy something that's not the right offer. So
well, let's break down your expertise a little bit more on offer guidance.
Yeah.
Can an offer be too big? Can it be too small? Should it be broken down? What are some tips to help the offer get to the gate?
Well, I always like to start at the lowest possible threshold that you can start to, interact with somebody. And I do think that it's really important to have, a very competitive offer. You have to be very competitive today, and especially we're in a new normal reality of business. So what's the price of an offer? Who knows today? Because things have changed, right? So that's why it's important to understand that we're in a whole new normal reality of business and media and networking and making offers. So if you set the threshold entry, that's why I interview people for free, because I want to learn about them. And what I want to do is I want to create 200 new networking millionaires who want to give back to their community. So when I interview them, I want to help them make more money so they can give back to their community. So when I interview them, I ask them, will you donate at least maybe $7 to $12 to your favorite charity, so that then I ask you about that during the interview. But I don't want to just create a bunch of rich jerks. I want to create 200 networking millionaires who want to give back to their communities and practice what we practice at Crush Group Networking, what we call group, and that is the golden rule of uniting people. So we want to bring people together. We want to help each other. And that's why I run big local ads here in Northern California, magazine ads, because I want to attract more super wealthy people into our networking events. So you know how rich Northern California is, right? Between San Francisco and Northern California. So you can't make money networking with people who can't afford to hire you. So that's why we invite
another problem. So let's talk about that, because I love to put on events. I love to put on seminars. I have incredible content, but how do I get the right people sitting in those chairs in the hotel in Boca Raton, Florida?
Well, here's the key. Okay, I use online virtual business networking as a new form of media to drive traffic, even to in-person events. For example, let's say I wanted to do an in-person event. I could actually invite people to an in-person event, telling people we're going to learn more about the law of attraction. You're going to hear my interview with Bob Proctor, and then we're going to talk about the law of attraction. So now I can actually do a meeting playing my interview with Bob Proctor, and then we talk about it as a way to draw people. That's one thing. So it depends on what your topic is. But the other one is knowing that, first of all, you've got to have people that can afford you. If you don't have that, what good is it? Okay. You've got to have real buyers. And so then you've got to have the right offer, but it's where you network from. Here's the key, folks, today. This is a real game changer in the new normal reality of business. Blanca, thankfully, attends our meetings in Northern California, and I'm so glad she does for Happy Neighborhood Project. But look at that. When I invite people from here, my neighborhood, to our events, Blanca comes from Florida into our Northern California events, and she gets to network with these super wealthy people. It doesn't matter where she is. She could be in the poorest city and doing the most needy nonprofit from any place in the country or in the world, come to our networking events in Northern California and network with super wealthy people no matter where you are. So affluence is now affordable to anyone, anywhere, if you know what you're doing.
That, I have to say that I'm so happy. I want to give a big shout out to Mark Siegel. Oh, I didn't even check the comments to see if anybody, Johnny Regan, super trusted interviewer. Thank you, Johnny. Appreciate that. So Johnny is the founder of the Global Vision Conference, and hopefully maybe you'll make it to Florida for that. It's on March 26th. I'm a speaker, and I'm receiving a Vision Award.
Well, I'd super love to interview him. Just let him know that, please.
I will. I'll put it in the chat right now. So that, yeah, of course. In fact, you know what? I'm going to do one better. One of my laws of life is in the now. I'm going to text Johnny right now. Right after this interview, everyone, I'm going to be headed over to the spectacular small business networking group hosted by Mark Siegel. You can visit lawsoflife.shop to pick up the Zoom link. Click on the event calendar, and that will take you right into the Zoom link for Mark's event. And I'm going to tell Johnny to reach out to you, and I'm going to say, Mike wants to interview you. Done. And are you going to Mark's networking event today?
I will, now that I know about it.
All right.
The key is super served the super interested.
Oh, you know what? I love it. I love it. So what we're going to do, I want to give a big shout out to Mark Siegel for inviting me as a co-host of
you and I and Mark are going to host an event on Friday. I'm going to interview you. I'm going to interview Mark. Let's invite people to come to, and I'll have all the news there at 200millionaires.com. Everything that anybody needs to join us on Friday at 200millionaires.com. They'll learn about coming to an event. I'll interview you. I'll interview Mark, and we'll talk about interviewing.
Wow. I'm putting this on the screen right now. This Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern, right?
Yes.
So they're going to go to 200millionaires.com, right?
Yeah.
And they're going to basically, what will happen when they go to that website?
They're going to learn where to come on Friday. So okay. I'll put all the info about where to attend, to watch. Come watch. You don't have to be. You don't even have to be on camera. A lot of times people, you got to be on camera. No, I believe in listen and learn. So come, eat your lunch, do something else, join us on the phone, just listen in. But you're gonna. Listen in while you're busy doing other things. So yeah, we want.
Johnny already said this has been a powerful interviewer. He'll meet us over at Mark Siegel's in 30 minutes. Perfect. So why don't you come over if you're watching this interview and meet us? Sorry, Mike. I'm just so excited for all this energy. Keep going. Keep talking to me.
Okay. Are you putting the link to Mark's event in the chat box for me?
Yes, I will put it in the chat box. And for everybody out there watching, what you can do, and this is a really important process, is you can simply go to lawsoflife.shop. If we can put that on the scroller of the show, lawsoflife.shop, and you can pick it up on my event calendar on my website. But of course, I will put it in the chat shortly when we conclude the interview. But it's all about showing up. And Mark has shown up for my summit every Tuesday at 11. And we both set our calendar for 2022 for me to go to his meeting and he comes to my meeting. And it's interesting. Since we made that commitment to one another, we achieved already tremendous, wonderful things. And one of those things is meeting you, Mike, because you're truly, truly an expert in your field. And we're very blessed to have someone that's patient and kind and generous like you to help us create the offers and do these events. And a lot of entrepreneurs are going through a lot of stress with this process. And when we're going to take a quick break, but I really do want to acknowledge you for your generosity and your expertise and in your time.
Good.
And
I'd like to comment on huddles, the huddle that you and Mark had when we come back.
okay, we're going to do another shout out right now to a very, very big sponsor of the Laws of Life platform. He's a diamond sponsor. His name is Tim Marecki. He's a personal injury attorney doing personal injury and real estate law. Please think of him if you ever need a lawyer in Florida. Let's hear this message. We'll be back in 20 seconds. Tim is really an extraordinary attorney. And I'm also going to put my phone number in the ticker. Anybody out there watching, if you want to contact me to connect for an interview on any of our shows, The Laws of Empowering Entrepreneurs. We also have a show, Mike, on Monday at 12 o'clock called The Laws of Digital Design on Demand, where we interview inventors of software, or experts in the digital marketing world to get tools and techniques on how to be better strategists digitally. All right, so moving on, Mike, you're helping entrepreneurs. You're helping entrepreneurs with this offer and this teleseminar concept. And what is the model for your time to be fairly compensated in that scenario? If somebody wants to work with your company, how does it work?
Well, once they have something to market and that they really get excited about. And now I sold these interviews at $500 each for a long, long time. Here's the way I worked. I'd always say to people, it's $500. Let me interview you. You play it for your friends and family. If they are not thrilled by the interview, you don't pay me a dime. I never, ever once had anybody not pay me for the interview. That's number one. So what I'm doing now is I am offering people to do the interview just to donate something to a charity like of yours or theirs or Mark's. Mark is big on charities.
Yes.
That's why I love networking with Mark Siegel. He's such a powerhouse of networking and such a giver. So really that's the model. But then once you have something that you're super excited about promoting, well, then you need to promote it. And the other thing I wanted to go back to was about what I call huddle networking. Now, you and Mark got into a huddle, and a huddle is to make an action plan. Okay. So now you huddle in a football game. What's our next play? It could be about the big picture, or it could be just about your next step. That's what a huddle is all about. And that's what I focus on. So you guys got together, you made a plan to come together. So when you create a huddle where people come together to make a plan, connect and take action, that is really power networking, is to huddle. People are far more likely to get into a huddle with you knowing, I'm not just going to sit there and listen to somebody blah, blah, blah in my ear, but they really want to connect because we can actually mutually help each other like you and Mark. So that's what I really concentrate on. And then once they have something they're really excited about promotion, well, in 30 years of direct response advertising, I was known as the network king, not because I knew everything. I knew everybody in the industry. That was what I did. So I learned from them. I went to 1 to 3 media marketing trade shows every month, not every year, every month for 15 straight years. I learned a thing or two from the world's top marketers. That was all absorbed by Amazon, the whole direct response industry, $350 billion industry, all gone, absorbed by Amazon. So what I am doing is I am recreating it in the model of networking. I call it direct response networking. I've scaled everything down to scale so it is affordable and available. It used to cost $250,000 to produce a TV commercial. Now you can produce a video for 25 cents. Okay. And so everything is scaled down, but you still have to understand what to do with it and how to use it and have a strategy.
Yes,
So that's really what it's all about. It's teaching the strategy and building a network of people who really want to help other people.
well, I couldn't agree more with that. It definitely takes a team to build all these building blocks, and that includes the concept of huddle networking and forming close alliances. And I'm honored to say that we have an alliance, and I'm going to be doing a teleseminar with Mike to promote my marketing packages of the Laws of Life Marketing Company. And it all starts with teams and collaboration. And yes, I'm a marketing strategist. I can construct my offers and landing pages, but I know, Mike, you're going to be giving me a lot of feedback. So very excited about that. So tell us about the cross group network. We haven't heard about that yet.
Okay, yeah. Cross group networking is the home of multi-dimensional networking. So we want to we bring all groups together to grow groups. I promote Happy Neighborhood Project. My company is Cross Group Networking. It's not Happy Neighborhood Project, but I help grow Happy Neighborhood Project of Northern California in cross group networking. Now, what is unique about multi-dimensional networking is everybody is different. So what I've done is I've created 24-hour huddle networking so that you can come into a huddle and maybe you want to use the Peloton cycle, but maybe you want to do yoga. Okay. Everybody's different. Maybe you only want to do one-to-one networking. Maybe you want to do Chamber of Commerce networking. Maybe you want to do group networking. Maybe you're a mentor. Everybody's different. So that's what we teach at Cross Group Networking is really multi-dimensional networking to help you find out what kind of networking you specifically want to do. And if you're smart, it's probably working with somebody like Blanca to really spread the word. She is right in the thick of the new normal of direct response networking, where you have to capture your story on a vehicle. But then you have to, if you had the greatest Tesla electric vehicle in the world, it's not going to go anywhere if you don't know what the power platforms are to recharge it. And so that's what we do. That's what Blanca's got. She's got a superpower charging station for your, luxury Tesla vehicle of your message, your story. So if you think of your story like a vehicle, it's got to be supercharged.
I love that. That is such an amazing analogy, and thank you for that. That means a lot coming from someone of your expertise and background. And I think that our two worlds are going to be a really interesting, powerful combination for the entrepreneurs that we do network. Now, if someone wants to become a member of the Cross Group Network, how does that work? They visit a website or?
Yeah, if they go to 200millionaires.com, that will take them to Eventbrite. Now, I put on events online and offline, but they can register there free. We do advertise locally. So if you want to network with affluent people in Northern California, go to 200 Networking Millionaires. You'll learn that every third Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific time, which is 1 p.m. Eastern,
Yeah.
you'll RSVP there. And we often have as many as 500-600 RSVPs.
What?
Yeah. And free on a free Eventbrite account, folks.
Wait, this is 200millionaires.com. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so if we go to 200millionaires.com, not only will we get information about the interview with Mark and you and myself on Friday at 3, but we'll also get in the loop on the every third Thursday at 1 p.m. networking group with Californians in a really amazing demographic, is what I hear you saying. Is that right?
Correct, for free.
And that's a Zoom. All right, that's your scoop, America. That's your scoop. You are getting invited. You're getting the inside scoop on one of the best networking events you could possibly attend. That's free. That's on Zoom. That's with amazing people from California. That's highly attended. And who is, what's the secret behind this group being so successful, do you think?
Yeah, the name is cross group networking, but that is really the strategy. It's not just the name. That's the strategy, is grow all groups. And people have a hard time really getting their head around that. And sometimes people think, well, if I join that, maybe people will join that group instead of mine. Well, then get better. Okay. I have no problem with, helping people. We want them to improve their groups. So we really encourage them to come and learn how to serve and even be a cross group ambassador and co-host the breakout rooms that really put you in the spotlight. So people really respond to you, get a lot of super attention, but we also keep it fair. I call it nearly perfect networking because as long as humans come, it'll never be perfect, but we get as close as none of us are perfect, right? So we get as close as we possibly can to help each other and really grow all people's income, their platform, their group, themselves. And when you do the best you possibly can, people know that and they respond to that. We don't have to be perfect, but we want to help grow Happy Neighborhood Project in Northern California. And Mark wants me to, and Edwin wants me to help them. But again, I want people to find what their ideal form of networking is. It might be TV shopping type networking. If they're multi-level, it might be somebody that really wants to do high-end financial networking. And there's a lot of new ways to become a new networking millionaire in this new normal reality of business. The really cool thing, Blanca, is this, that what the pandemic has done is it's taken an eraser to the whiteboard of our old normal. And now, as the science of getting rich said, you're really going to get super rich when you set the rules of the situation you're in. Well, we all now can create the new rules of the new normal reality of business. We are the thought leaders.
You're right.
We are the future of online virtual business networking and really the entire U.S. economy, because we're going to build it from the grassroots up by bringing people together in the shared reality of our incomes. So we leave all of the negativity outside and we focus where we can really help ourselves and help other people by making more money and giving back to our communities.
Oh my God, Mike, we are so in alignment. And I have to tell you, I feel literally inspired by what you just said. Literally, the combination, that's what my platform is truly about, is the concept of community empowerment. As Mark says, cross support, like you said, Mike, of the cross group support, and not feeling insecure, territorial. Either be the best or you're not the best, and stop thinking about, oh, they're going to leave my group. Be confident, be secure. But what really struck me about what you said is the new reality of us combining together to help one another in this little village we call life. And then let's also help charity along the way too. Boom, microphone drop. Now, I have been working on my movement of community empowerment for 2 years. promoting sharing, promoting elevation, promoting live streaming, promoting cross-pollination of the content. And I am living, as you said, the new reality of digital streaming. I could probably stream 24 hours a day, right, if I really wanted to. And we're really excited to do that. Do you think that some people are going to get left behind in the new reality?
Yeah, unfortunately they will, but that's why what we're doing, we're training trainers about the huddles so that we can have the bigger I grow this network the way I planned it, the more trainers we have. So it actually is all designed to expand and scale appropriately so we can reach out to as many people as possible, really not only throughout the United States, but even globally. We want to help people who have and I've met people who have a cell phone in a mud hut in Africa that are selling things. And I was in Thailand. Yeah, I was in Thailand too. And they were in a little outdoor marketplace doing a TV shopping network with their phone. I mean, creativity, when you take creativity in the minds of entrepreneurs, it's like artificial intelligence on steroids. There's nothing like the entrepreneurial mind to take things and reshape them and expand them and new ideas. And, it's just wonderful to see that at work.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, what we're going to do is we've got 4 minutes left to wrap. I'm just going to play a quick video, just giving everyone the opportunity and advantages of working with the Laws of Life team. So let's take a look at that, and then we'll be right back.
Do you want to get your brand fired up for 2022? Then let's go. After being an entrepreneur for 20 years, I can tell you that there's 4 key pillars to having a successful business. Number 1 is strategy. We got to map out every single process of your marketing campaign. Step 2, design. We got to build the fundamental brand colors, fonts, logo, and all the assets to make your brand pop. Number 3, communication. After being an attorney for 25 years, I'm a top copywriter. We're going to write those Facebook messages, those Instagram messages, those email drip campaigns. Every word of your website is going to matter. And step 4, networking. You're going to come to the summit every Tuesday, and you're going to be a part of something bigger than all of us, community. So press that Book with Blanca button now, and let's get your brand fired up for 2022. See you there. Do you want to get your brand fired up for 2022? Then
My apologies. All right, so going back to the nitty gritty, we're back with Mike Hayes, a 2-time award winner of the Peabody, the most prestigious award for an interviewer. We've learned about Mike's incredible cross-group network. We've learned about the 200millionaires.com. They have a networking event every third Thursday at 1 p.m. in California with a very, very prestigious population of Californian residents. We've got this Friday at 3 p.m. Mike is interviewing Mark Siegel and myself. Details about that also at 200millionaires.com. Mike, you have years of experience in marketing, interviewing, constructing offers. 2 minutes left. What is your advice to the entrepreneur? Right now, there's a lot of people out there struggling. What can you tell them to give them hope? What can they do next today to make some money and succeed?
Have I got an answer for you? So here it is. Now, as I said, I got to go back. As Steve Jobs said, you can't connect the dots for the future. You have to connect them from your own experience. And so that is what gives you vision. So I have to go back to, I was in the room when there were 60 people at the beginning of the launch of the direct response industry. We took that idea when it was kind of fringe still to $350 billion industry, and electronic retailing was the magazine of that whole industry. Then when it all went away, that's when I really realized that we are on the verge of the next multi-$100 billion industry. And this needs a periodical about the industry. So I created Networking Beat, and Networking Beat voices like yours to help articulate people about the meteoric rise of the online virtual business networking industry. So what I also want to do is have the periodical news reviews and interviews about online virtual business networking, but also include contributing voices like yours, Blanca, as the voices of Networking Beat. So, as a documentary director, I interview people to find out what in the wide world of sports is going on in networking. And I want to be current, and I want to be up to speed, and I want to hear from all the real power brokers of networking, the movers and shakers of the industry. So I call it simply Subscribe and Grow Rich.
Oh, I love that. I love that title. Subscribe. Yeah.
So when you subscribe to Networking Beat, you hear from people like me.
Where do we go to do that? Is that also at
Go to do it. Yeah. Go. In fact, I publish Networking Beat right on Eventbrite, the #1 search engine for events in the world. And so it's published out there. It's published in the magazine. It's published in multiple places. And it's going to expand now that I am collaborating with Blanca. Okay.
That's right. That's
so
right.
So the more we network, the more we're going to expand, get into one-to-one huddles, get into multiple group huddles. And I'm going to create an entire 24-hour huddle network so that you can network when you are busy doing other things with your teleseminar interview. So that, like my client talks about making $250,000 while he was sleeping. The guy took to $200 million in sales because I had captured him. That's asynchronous networking. So you don't always have to be together live. So we are transforming the whole industry. We're creating it, we're building it, and we're growing it together.
Well, I'm super honored. I'm super excited. I could probably spend the entire day talking to you. It truly has been my distinct honor to interview you today, Mike. Everybody follow Mike Hayes on Instagram and Facebook. And also, of course, be sure to go to 200millionaires.com. And we're going to be going into the Happy Neighborhood Project now. We're going to sign off on the show. Mike, I'll see you at Mark Siegel's in 8 minutes. And stay on, and I'll give you the link. Everybody, thanks for watching Laws of Empowering Entrepreneurs. I hope you learned something today. I know I did. See you next week.
Thank you, Blanca, for having me.
Thank you.
You're like a circle that floats around me, keeping me safe and sound. And when I fall, you tied a rope to me. You're blessing me every day. I was down with an illusion, like a sparrow with broken wings. But now I shine with your reflection on me. I'm getting back up on my feet.